everyone, and welcome back to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick. I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor.
And today, we are going to be talking about Green Room. And before we get into that, are you drinking anything over there?
Yeah. So I'm drinking because I literally gobbled my dinner and rushed in here. So I have a giant cup of water and then a giant cup of Thai iced tea.
Oh, I like Thai iced tea.
This isn't product placement, but Thai Chili to Go is a pretty good place.
Call us.
Call us, yes. But that's all I had time for. I just grabbed my stuff and ran in here.
Oh, that's fair. I'm sorry. I jumped the gun because I'm excited to share what I'm drinking.
What are you drinking?
I finally got my bottle of kin. And so last night I tried just a half serving because the serving size is 2 ounces, right? So I just tried 1 ounce to make sure that I didn't have a weird reaction. And it was good and I felt good. So I was like, okay, tonight I'm going to try a full serving, 2 ounces, and mix that with a little bit of black cherry Zevia and lime LaCroix because that was all we had to mix it.
Sounds like
carry a lot of mixers. Yeah. Didn't you do the same thing?
I had it wasn't LaCroix but it was like an off brand. Probably the Walmart brand of it. And it was lime. Yeah.
Yeah. LaCroix. I like how you said that very officially.
LaCroix.
LaCroix. I'm just calling it LaCroix.
Oh my gosh. I took French and I'm not saying I'm French. If there's French people listening, she'd be like, she did not even say that right. That wasn't even French accent. So in high school, I took French and I took French at college. And then I was all amped. I'm going to teach French to my children and they're going to go to an all French school. And then they grow older, then they learn English. And I had this whole plan and then I got divorced. And I was a single mom working a couple jobs. And yeah, French Academy wasn't the priority.
That's fair. That is very fair. So first things first, we are going to spoil the shit out of this movie. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want it to be spoiled, turn back now. And I'm just going to jump right in with the synopsis here. So Green Room was made in 2015. And I'll talk more about who's in it and stuff here because I have the blurb pulled up. A punk rock band becomes trapped in a secluded venue after finding a scene of violence. For what they saw, the band themselves become targets of violence from a gang of white power skinheads who want to eliminate all evidence of the crime. That's a pretty good synopsis.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That is the setup of the movie. Yep. Okay, so yeah, it was 2015. And the director and writer, his name is Jeremy, and maybe this is French, so maybe you can help me. I don't know if you came across the name at all, but it's Saulnier. I think it's Saulnier.
Oh, that's what it sounds like, yeah.
It sounds right. Okay, so Jeremy Saulnier wrote and directed. And then we've got Anton Yelchin, who I love. Imogen Poots. I'm not 100% sure I'm saying that name right. And Patrick Stewart. And I don't know how to say this person's name. Aaliyah Shockett? She's in a ton of shit though. What is she in?
Is she the one with the red hair and all the freckles?
Yes.
I love her.
She's in Modern Family, right? And she's in, she has been in, what's that other show that I know you like? So the one
show that I saw her in was Transparent.
Oh, okay.
And loved her in that. And there's another show that I like that she's in.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't remember the name right now. But it's two girls.
Broad City?
Yes, Broad City. She's in an episode of Broad City where she hooks up with, I can't remember their names apart, but the curly haired one.
I love her.
Help me.
I'm totally forgetting her name too, and I love her.
She comes across this person and they're twins. And they're
oh yeah, that's right. Oh, I remember that episode. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I really like her.
I feel like she's in everything. But anyway, so that's kind of the whole, well, big name cast, I should say. And also, I'm going to mention Macon Blair is in this movie, who is not, I think, a well-known name. He's the, like, main... I don't know what to call him, but he's kind of like the manager of the location. Like, he's like the first one who, like, takes the phone and kind of gets shit under control.
Yeah.
So, but before we move on, I want to know what's your hot take here, Felicia, since this was my pick?
So, I really liked this movie. I thought it was really cool. Well, first of all, I liked all the characters. I liked all of them. I thought that even if I didn't like them, that means that they were just really good characters. So I thought it was really believable how everything went down. I was interested the whole time in seeing where they're going, and I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen. When are they going to be in a green room? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh shit, this is the green room. It's starting. It started pretty quick. Like, it was like, I just wasn't expecting it. He went back to get the phone and boom, we're in it. And it was super scary. Scary in the sense, not like, not scary movie scary, but scary like this could happen and what the hell would I do scary. It was gross too. Oh yeah. Like it showed you like the dogs chewing out their throats, or oh my gosh, when he had the gun in his hand and the door, he was trying to pull his arm in, and then when he pulled it in, it's like they hacked it with a machete. Ugh, that was gross.
Butchered.
Yeah. Oh, when that chick, when he made that guy pass out because he was choking him, and then she takes a box cutter and slices up his stomach. I was like, oh my God, this is gross.
It's giving me chills just thinking about it, because it's so gross. Like, the violence is so realistic.
Yes.
And
yes.
It's so gross. What did your teens think? Did they watch with you?
Yeah, they watched with me, and they really liked it. We were all like, and really, what would you do? I bought all of their reactions. I really liked the one girl. I'm just calling her the girl with the freckles. I apologize. She has a real name, and I
think her name in the movie is Sam.
Sam. Yeah, because she was just like, she was scared, and my one of the teens was like, that's exactly how I would respond. Like, she is me. That's how I would respond. It was very realistic. The only thing, not that it wasn't realistic, but it just pissed me off, was so the kid, you're gonna have to help me. The one who went back for the cell phone.
And his name is escaping me too.
Okay, but him who went back for the cell phone.
Anton Yelchin.
Anton. Yeah, he, well, first, how about like, hey, whatever, no problem, I'm just gonna peace out of here. Instead, he's like, I'm calling the police right now, and he's running down the hall calling the police. Like, come on, let's not like, what you have to be, you're in deep in the bowels of this club with a bunch of very violent people. You don't have to be so not self-righteous, but so righteous, like, I'm calling the police on you now. How about you get out of the club and then call from the truck? I would be pissed. I'd be pissed at you, Tawny, if we were in that situation and you walked in and saw that and went, I'm calling the police right now. I'd be like, she's crazy.
Did he say that, or did he just like run and call the cops? Because I don't remember him like saying anything. I just remember him like running, and I liked that, because I was like, he realizes he has like a couple seconds, like there's not a lot of time, and he just panics and runs and calls, and he's like, I'm at like, you're right. Once he's talking on the phone, he's like, I don't know exactly where I am. I'm at this like club back in like whatever.
There's been a stabbing. He just had left the. No, see, I'm not saying it wasn't realistic. I would have been.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pissed. Yeah. No, I'm not saying it wasn't realistic. Somebody may have responded that way. I was just like, at least wait until you're and of course, I don't know how I would respond if I saw that. I hope I never have to find out. But at least wait till you're not like literally right outside the door. But I guess he was, now that you say it that way, maybe he was trying to get a call in so police would come before they got him. See, because I was thinking more if he was like, that's cool, you know, like tried to not act like it was such a big deal, but I guess you're right. Like they're not going to believe that.
I did take it to be like, oh, he's trying to get the call in. He's trying to make contact with the police so that they can track the call at the very least. Like it's like a, oh shit, we are fucked. They are not going to let us go. I just need to do whatever I feel. You know, like and I don't know that it was even that much of a thought process, but I hear what you're saying in the way that like I also, when I watch stuff, 9 times out of 10, I'm like, I'll be playing the like, no, this is cool game. You know, like I'll be like, no, that's, she deserved it. You know, like I'd be like, all right, totally, didn't see shit. I don't care. Yeah. Goodbye. And
that's what I was thinking. Like, I was thinking like, oh, sucks for her. Fuck it. I just need to get my phone. Peace.
Yeah, totally.
Like I would be that way if I saw a woman stabbed or anybody stabbed. I don't even know. But that's what I think. And then we'd be like, we don't give a shit, man. Can you just give us some drugs? And then get in the truck and be like, holy shit.
I like how we both have that thought process, though. I do think that all the time when I see other things happen in movies. I'm like, no, man, I just like play along. I just play along and be like, no, everything's fine.
Because they might believe him because they did that song. The song, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was something like stupid Nazi skinhead. Punks? Nazi punks, yeah.
Nazi punks, fuck off is the name of the song.
Nazi punks, fuck off. And they're like singing it and people are pissed. And they're like right in like this, a whole colony of Nazis. This whole place of Nazis. And they're singing that song. And my teens were like, why would they do that? And I was like, I think it's kind of giving them clout. Like they're just like, they're being rebels. They're being like, the fact that they were saying that song to all of those Nazis fearlessly kind of makes them badass. And when they started singing their other songs, everyone was into it.
They were cool. They were cool. That was, upon this rewatch, I was like, oh, this is interesting, actually, how much, because I didn't remember exactly how everything transpired. Like, I thought maybe they were starting to get kicked out right after that song or something. But then I was like, oh, yeah, I don't remember this. But they play their other songs, and they're like, cool. Like, everybody's just like, okay, whatever. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't pick up on that the first time. So, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it bought them some clout. I took it to be like, oh, they've already pissed these people off. So by the time they go back there and see that dead body, that is also why they're like, no fucking way these people are going to let us go because they hate us.
I thought because they were mosh pitting. And remember that other guy walked up and was like, I liked that last song, but then he said he killed that woman to it.
Yeah.
But it was like, I thought it gave him balls. It gave him clout. And because people really enjoyed the music after and everything was fine. They even, after they played, they were drinking at the bar because when they walked back to the back room, they had drinks and they were waiting for their money. So I didn't get any feeling like people hated them. And so that's why I kind of felt if they continued to act like, fuck it, people might buy it. They might buy it.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was great. It was great. I really enjoyed it. This is the first time, besides foreign films, that I watched a film, though, with subtitles. Like, majority of everything they were saying, I could not understand what they were saying. Especially because I just didn't think, like, I didn't know what red laces were. And Patrick Stewart was talking, I was like, what is he saying? And then my teens didn't even know. And I'm like, okay, I think he's taking that van to the shed. But all I heard was shed. So we put on the subtitles and we were able to hear it all.
Yeah, I didn't make a note of this because I just didn't think about it. But the director, Jeremy Saulnier, in the IMDb trivia stuff, he was like, he really doesn't like movies that hold your hand through the movie and like explain too much as you go, which I really felt as I was rewatching, I was like, man, I've even seen this movie, and I'm like not really 100% sure what's going on. We also turned on the subtitles because it is hard to hear them. He especially is very quiet.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to hear what he's talking about. But they don't explain it, right? Like if you don't know what red laces are, which you probably don't, right?
Yeah.
Like then you're like you have no context and you're a little bit lost and you don't really get it until the end.
When you see
kind
the
of
shoes
like,
with the red laces.
Yeah, like then you start to pick up context clues as you go. Like, oh, okay, it's like the inner circle of this larger group, and so.
My husband knows a bunch of random facts, and when I usually just ask him anything and he'll know it. And I said that, I was like, what is he talking about, red laces? And he goes, oh, that's the skinheads, they have red laces. Or I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, something about them like shedding blood for the cause.
Yeah, and they're initiated, right? Because he gave that guy red laces towards the middle or end, yeah.
Yeah. I fucking love this movie, obviously. That's why I chose it. It's so good. And it's interesting because I was thinking like, oh man, this really isn't like it doesn't fit the mold of like a typical horror movie, but it is a horror movie. I mean, it's technically you could probably call it a horror thriller. I mean, I guess it's just anybody's opinion, but I feel like it is a horror movie because it is truly horrific. And and I felt like, okay, maybe it'd be a nice like thing to kind of throw in because I feel like we've done a few now that are like a little bit more supernatural or, you know what I mean? Like a little bit off the wall, like with Jacob's Ladder. And I was like, okay, like this one is like set in a real setting with real people doing real shit. And it is horrifying. Like the main takeaway from this movie is the violence. The two scenes of incredible violence. I mean, obviously there's a lot of violence, but the one that stuck with me is the box cutter to the stomach. That one was rough. I had forgotten actually about the arm. So when we were rewatching, the arm was way worse than I remembered it being. And then the other one was less bad than I remembered it being because I just like had forgotten about the arm. I was like,
can I please say, because this was something, like, I don't even like it when the sticky part of a Band-Aid is on a very little part of my cut. Like, couldn't he, God, please, have wrapped that towel or the shirt around and then really secured it with duct tape? Why the duct tape, like, right on the wounds? That dude survived. So, yeah, good luck with that one once the hospital picks you up. Oh, my God. I can't even imagine.
I know. That was the one thing that there's like a couple things that I feel like are maybe on the edge of gratuitous or something. Like I don't know what the right word there would be, but I feel like that's one of them. Is like, okay, anybody who's ever lived any amount of time, if you've ever put on a Band-Aid, you know that shit sucks like to pull off is what I told Jade. Exactly. I was thinking about a Band-Aid too. So I was like, wouldn't you be like, okay, hold on, let me just put something underneath this before
He had a shirt on his arm to begin with.
Right. And then they took it off and put the
duct tape
on over
and the dude was like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, do it just like that. Like, if you came up to me, I'd be like, whoa, 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 put the shirt fucking back on, Tawny, what are you doing? I really do think I would. I really do think if my arm was hanging off my wrist and you were like, let's duct tape it, I would be like, put something over the
even in that situation.
I know.
Is there some gauze? Can you get something?
Well, the fact that he even had a damn shirt on his arm to begin with and they took it off to put the duct tape.
Yeah. It was a little much. It was a little like, okay, the arm is bad enough. We don't need anything on top of this.
How about when this wasn't over the top, it was just gross, when he dragged that girl around by the knife that was in her head?
Yeah, I have a little tidbit about that actually. Let me see. It says, okay, again, I get everything from IMDb, y'all. Okay. It says the scene where a body is dragged by a knife stuck in its head was inspired by a prison documentary that Jeremy had seen on television that greatly disturbed him, which makes total sense because it is disturbing.
Yeah. It was disturbing. I had one loud scream that was a real scream of fear. And it was when the one guy who was going to be escaping with his girlfriend, and he's helping him. And it was so fast. Like, he's like, yeah, it's right here behind the boom. He's shot in the head. And you see it. And the fact that it looks really like that man was shot in the head, and that you had absolutely no idea because you didn't even see anybody else in the building. And he's just right mid-sentence. And then boom, I screamed really loud. So did my teens. Everyone was like, oh my God, because it really looked like you were witnessing someone being shot in the head. It was pretty shocking.
Yeah. And there is no indicator. Like, 9 times
No.
out of 10 with a jump scare, you're like, it's coming. That was completely out of left field. Yeah. And he just dies like that. And I even, like, okay, we're rewatching it, and he comes in, and I was like, shit, I don't remember this guy helping them. Well, it's because he dies immediately after that. Like, I had even forgot about that part. And I was just like, oh God, no. Like, one of the scenes that really affected me the first time that I watched it was the scene where they make their first break for it, okay? And all the kids start running, and they end up like splitting up and like trying to get out of there. And the one guy finds a window. I remember feeling like, when I rewatched this movie, I was like, I know kind of what happens. And so it wasn't as much of a shock. But I remember the first time I was watching it, I was like, so fucking relieved. I was like, oh God, thank God he found a window. He found a window, he's out of there. And as soon as he slips out of that window, there's like 7 guys stabbing him in his back. And I it was so shocking and like bleak. Like, that was the moment when I was like, fuck, there is no way.
No way.
There's no way. They've got this place surrounded. They've got the dogs. They're not getting out. Like, I remember that being a moment for me where I was like, it was majorly affecting. Because I was like, holy shit, yes, he's going to sneak out. And it was just like, whoop. Like, they were on him. And it just was like so hopeless.
And he was the strongest
moment.
one of the whole group.
Yeah, true. Like, he was the only one to know
we
how
were
to,
all
wrestle.
Like, dude, I'd want to be with that guy. If I was stuck anywhere, he handled everything. He was able to handle a gun.
And he had...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, he was like, wrestling with that guy. And he even just had the sense to be like, oh, door's locked, window. Made total sense. Not bad decisions on his part, right?
Yeah.
It's just they were ready.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah, and it was just so fast. There was like no hope. I love how you said that. It was literally like he jumped out the window, they started stabbing him. And there was no hope he was getting away. It was so bleak. He's done. And then the girl, when she got killed by the dog, right? Yeah, she got mauled by the dog, and we really liked her. So it's just those 2 left, and I'm like, what are they gonna do? So,
it happens so fast too.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, there's a whole crew of them. They make their first run, and just bam, we're down to like 3 people, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because the 2 girls and the one guy with the duct tape.
Oh, right, yeah.
Those were the last ones. And then and then she was mauled by the dog, so then when they tried to get out again, that's right. And then it was just the 2. And thank God the white supremacist guys, the Nazi guys, decided to go, just leave 2 behind.
Right.
Because that's how they were able to, overpower them or really outsmart them. Mm-hmm. Because if they were all still there, there's no way.
There's no way. Yeah, I thought that too. Rewatching the first time you watch this movie, I just feel like you're on the ride, and there's no time to even really pay attention to what's kind of happening, But like rewatching it, I was like, oh man, what a stroke of luck. Yeah, that they leave them to these 2 idiots. I mean, they're all idiots, obviously, but like these 2 last people who are dumb, like, thank God those were the last 2. Yeah. And everybody else left. There's no way they would have been able to get out aside from that.
Mm-mm. And when the duct tape guy came out, like, this is one thing. He came out and he was like going to try to attack this guy, and he didn't really. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? What kind of a swing was that? And then I stopped and I'm like, well, I mean, his arm is falling off. I guess.
Yeah.
He's not
You gotta
Superman. He's a guy and his arm is falling off. So I guess that was
The
pretty
fact
good.
that he didn't pass out
Yes.
is already
Yes.
a testament to strength.
And I have to say, when they were walking back, and I really couldn't, that was one where I was having trouble understanding what they were talking about. But when I realized they were going down to the main farm, I will say I was like, bullshit. Are you kidding me? I call massive, insane bullshit on that. You just escaped that Nazi camp with your lives and you're going to go put yourself right back into it. I think that's bullshit. However, I'm really glad they did because I liked the ending.
Yeah.
I really liked the ending. I enjoyed it. I'm glad all of those assholes got what they deserved. But at that moment, I'm like, are you kidding me? You just escaped that horror. And now you're like, I'm going to go down there and get them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm glad they did, and the way they did it I thought was pretty cool, and it was believable how they were able to. And then when they shot that guy, Patrick Stewart, like he just turned around and started walking. Yeah, that was cool.
I liked that a lot because he thought it wasn't a bad plan on Patrick Stewart's part, whatever his name is. Oh, Darcy is his name in the movie.
It's Darcy.
And is it Darcy? Are you laughing because it's wrong?
No. I was laughing because Patrick Stewart, and this thing went into my head like, Patrick Stewart kills people, because we're saying Patrick Stewart. It was a joke.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just making sure. But that, it was smart of him to turn around and start walking because they don't know, they can't see what he's doing, obviously. And he's, grabbing a gun. So he's trying to be slick, and they just weren't having it. I liked that too, that they got it.
Great.
But I understand what you mean. Yeah, it's like, why would you put yourself back in the grips of these people? But, they might have been riding high on there.
I'm so glad they did. But, they don't even know. There was a lot of people that are part of that organization. What if at that house there was, gosh, even if there was
Tons.
just 3 more people. Honestly, if there was just 3 more people than what was there, they would have
Not
been
to mention
screwed.
the dogs too, right? Like the
Yeah.
dogs are like a major issue if they
they're
let
a
one
major
off at
issue
you.
when
They're
pulling your throat out.
You're done. They're fast. You can't run from them. It's so scary.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about this movie is it is just so truly terrifying, and to think that you are at the mercy of a group of people who don't give a fuck about people. It was truly terrifying.
They were killing their own people, right? Did I get that right? Where he, the drugs, they were making the drugs, and they were, I could tell, I picked up that Darcy did not like those guys and his crew using the drugs, and so he poisoned it. Right? Because he kind of made a hint. He said that there's a bad batch of that dope going around. Mm-hmm. And it was like the one guy, is his name Worm. He didn't do the drugs, but his friends did, and they were sitting there dead at the end, right? Wasn't it?
They were, but I guess I assumed he had also done the drugs and he was also going to die. Like, I guess I just read that.
Oh, I thought I saw it as he saw his friends die, and it kind of was coming together for him about his leader, like what type of a person he's following. I read into his look way too. I thought he was like, whoa, look at this Darcy guy's a bad guy. He's killing us.
Yeah, I think there's probably different ways that you could look at it. Because he's like eating cereal. And he's like trembling, and like, I think, right? Like he's like,
ooh, I don't remember.
He can't really make it into it. I mean, I think he makes it in his mouth, but you can tell he's like not feeling great. He's shaking.
I should watch it again. I didn't see that. I just saw them, and I was like, oh my gosh, they did the drugs. They're dead. And then I saw him, and then I was like, who was that? And the kids had to tell me it was Worm.
Yeah, I think I just took it to mean like, oh, he's going to die. Like he's going to die
dying.
soon. Yeah. It's just they're already dead, and now he's going to die too.
Which was good, because, he was bad.
What a terrible person, yeah.
Yeah.
In the context of the movie, obviously. But, yeah, I think he also... I got the sense that Darcy wanted to kill them because of their like recklessness, kind of. And so they were killing people who were a part of their community. And even on top of that, right? I mean, you got the scene where the two people stab each other for the sake of, you know, bringing
oh yeah, those
like
twins
getting the cops away.
The twins, yeah. Ooh, so if you're ever in that type of a situation, anybody, I hope you're not. But yeah, that because he said a stabbing, it would have been better if he said a girl has been killed, because then how would they have covered that up? But since the kid said in the phone there was a stabbing, then they just created a stabbing.
So smart. I mean, like, terrifyingly smart, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, shit.
Too bad he didn't say, a girl was killed. She was stabbed in the head. Then what were they going to do? Then there would have been more of an investigation. So just make sure if you're yelling to the police, you're giving them a lot of specific information.
That's not wrong, dude. Actually, that's like a good takeaway. I feel like if you are in a situation like this, just as much detailed information as you possibly can. Because I was like, God damn it, they're like the worst, best adversaries. A bunch of shitbags that just like they know how to deal with this kind of stuff, and they have people that are willing to like get stabbed for the group. It's terrifying. It's like so scary. I don't think I've ever watched a movie like this. I think this is why this movie stands out so much to me. I think we watched it right after it came out, a few years ago. And I was like, this is the best movie I've seen this year. Like, by a mile, and it's stuck with me ever since then. I just think it's because I can't think of another movie that has such a bleak, scary feel. And still, in the end, you have a couple people who survive, which is good. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, they're a terrifying group of villains.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
obviously,
very
fuck
scary.
Nazis.
Yeah, just like follow their leader, whatever he says. And yeah, I got that too, that he didn't like the weak ones, the ones that were doing drugs. Those were weak links. And so he was trying to get rid of the weak links of the group.
Yeah, totally.
Which I'm surprised he didn't think that one guy, he always seemed a little nervous. The one that ended up going and getting the police at the very end for them.
Yeah.
That he gave the red laces to, but he always seemed kind of like, just like, kind of really nervous. He didn't come across as a super tough character. But that's maybe good, loyal.
In the end, yeah, that's good because in the end he flips. Yeah. And I feel like you buy it probably because of that. Because he's like doing everything he can. He's getting the cops away. He's having other people stab other people. Like, it's like, but there's something about him that you're like, by the time he's like, I don't want to go to jail, you're like, yeah, I get it. I'm with you. Yeah, and you just believe him. He's like, I'll go get the cops alone. And they're like, okay, bye. Like, which is not smart in this situation. You probably should go with him.
Yeah, because what if he didn't?
Right.
Well, I guess.
What if?
I mean, yeah, because they're just sitting there. They killed these guys, and now they're just sitting there waiting for the cops to come.
I wonder if they just like, I'm just making this up in my head here, but I feel kind of like they had such a close brush with death that at that point they were sort of like, fuck it, Like, that's why they went to go see them again, and why they were like, go ahead, It was kind of like, we already thought we were going to die, so if we die, oh well, like, we're going to take out as many people as we can.
Yeah, but they're not dead anymore. They're not going to die anymore.
Yeah.
It's like the descent, my whole thing with having a descent too. Like, that woman would actually go back into those catacombs.
Right. Yeah.
But again, I'm glad they did, because that was a cool scene and it was a really good ending.
It was. I really liked the end. And it at least gave you a little bit of hope. In a very bleak and violent and dark movie, there was something good at the end.
Yeah, that's scary to think of. All the different types of groups like that, not even just Nazis, just any groups like that have, that just kill, anger, hate mentality. So scary. So scary.
Totally. Yeah, and that, there are groups like that in the world.
100%.
It's
all over.
It's not completely made up, and that's why it's scary. Mm-hmm. It's just like fucking wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
But God, do I like how they turn it around and they kick a bunch of ass. But they kind of don't. Like,
they really don't. They're just the last two.
Yeah, like
nobody else does.
But
except the one guy, right, who's choking out the guy, and anyway.
Yeah. But they don't know what they're doing. They're kids. They're teenagers. Mm-hmm. But still, they do enough to get away. But I really liked that whole thing because it made me feel like, oh, these people don't turn into major badasses overnight. Like, they're not, like, a lot of the time I just think you have a situation where you're like, I don't know. Okay, like, I'll follow this person because they're the main character. But this one, we had very realistic things happening. Like, it's not like suddenly everybody knows how to shoot a gun. I like how there's only she was the only one. Imogen's character was the only one who knew how to shoot a gun. And so every time they had a gun, they had to give it to her, right? Like, it was like, okay, I can't do this. You're the only one that can do it. And I just loved that.
You know what? Now that you say all of that, that's why it was so bleak. Because it was real. Because if you think about it, what popped into my head is Taken. And that movie terrifies me. And you would hope and wish that your husband or yourself or someone in your family was so wicked badass that they could track down these people and kill them. But in the green room version of it, that kid would not have been saved. His daughter would not have been saved. They would have tried and searched, and and that's what this did. These were just these teenage kids that tried their best to get out, and none of them made it except for those two.
Yeah, and they only made it because they did exactly what he said, is like, we have to stop playing war. Like, and it's not even that articulate. Like, that's the point, is like, it's not like they had a major plan. They just said, fuck it, let's stop having a plan, because they're expecting us to have a plan. And if we act so erratically and then we catch them off guard, we could maybe have a chance at getting out here. And the
fact that you're absolutely right. And the fact they did that and there was only 2 of them left.
Yeah, that helped tremendously, obviously. But even, I just love how that whole shit goes down. They're like, he walks in and he's screaming down into the hole. He's like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't even know what he says, but he's screaming, and then he jumps down in there and then falls down and fucking drops the machete. You're like, oh shit, that's exactly what somebody would do. But that guy, he's so caught off guard. He's like, who are you talking to? Which is, again, stupid. What a stupid guy, but thank God he's stupid. And you're just like, this is great. And they barely had a plan. He was like, I'm gonna go down here and smack a bunch of shit and hide and hope to God that I can machete this guy. Yeah. Or they're like, maybe we can get him to shoot off enough shots that he doesn't have any more ammo in this gun. And oh God, it's so good, so realistic, Yeah,
that was excellent.
Let me see. I think I have a Okay, maybe I don't. I didn't put this in my notes, but I should have. But one of the things that Jeremy Saulnier has said about this movie, so I've gone back and watched a couple of his other movies after watching Green Room because I liked it so much. And I was like, I had read some other things about Blue Ruin, which he had made directly before Green Room, and Murder Party, which was his first movie. And he said stuff before about this being in almost a joking way, but this being part of an inadequate hero trilogy. So in each one of those movies, there's a theme of somebody who's they're the main character and they're trying to do shit that they are inept at. You've got these people trying to survive when they're not crazy badasses, or Marines or whatever. In Blue Ruin, you've got a guy, I saw that movie, but I was like watching it kind of passively, so I don't remember like super details. But it's like a guy who's trying to get revenge. It's a revenge movie, and it's also like very violent. But from what I remember, he also doesn't really know what he's doing. And same with Murder Party. I didn't love Murder Party, but it, you know. But I thought that was interesting. That's kind of his take on these three movies. I don't know if that's super intentional or if it just worked out that way, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting because even with The Descent, she becomes a badass. You know what I mean? A lot of them do. Actually, even the one that was kind of the backstabber, the adulteress.
Juno?
Yeah, yes. She is like, she's a badass too, you know, and these were legit teenagers. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. And let's see, what else do I have? There was not a lot on this as far as little tidbits. Okay, sorry, I had to burp. I mixed this kin with a bunch of like carbonated stuff and now I'm having issues. Okay. Patrick Stewart said in an interview that when he finished reading the script at his country home in England, it was so terrifying that he locked up his house, turned on the security system, and poured himself a scotch. He then knew that he wanted to play the Darcy Banker role because a character that horrifying would be an incredible challenge and make for a compelling movie.
Wow, very cool. That's cool.
I feel like he did a very, very good job. Like he is very good job. So intimidating.
Yeah.
Like
you
love him
that he leads those guys.
Yeah. It's like a quiet confidence, and like something else that I read I should have put in the notes. It's like they shot that scene where Anton Yelchin's character is talking to him through the door. They shot that both ways. So they shot Patrick Stewart and Anton, but Jeremy said he knew he was going to use only the one side, and he was like, I wanted to give gravity to the character, not necessarily to Patrick Stewart. And so like and it seems like I'm going out on a limb here. I haven't read anything about this, but also there is a lot of shots of the back of his head. Like, you know, which is an interesting thing to notice. But I think it might be also because he's trying to stave off I don't even know if that's the right word, but he's trying to not use so much of Patrick Stewart's star face power. And it's more of just him being a very intimidating character, you know?
Yeah, because he's definitely the one that you recognize the most.
For sure, he's definitely, I mean, Anton Yelchin's a big name too, but.
Yeah, I recognized him, but I couldn't place him. I know I've seen him in things, I didn't know what.
Terminator Salvation is what what I'm remembering him from, and what is this other movie? Odd Thomas, which is a horror movie. Maybe we should put that on our list.
Oh.
But it's also very good. The sad thing is, I don't know if you knew this, he died.
In real life?
Yeah.
Who?
This is actually, let me go back to my notes, Anton Yelchin.
Oh, I thought that's who you're talking about, really?
Yeah. He, let me go back to my notes here.
Oh.
This is actually his last theatrical movie to be released before his death. In 2016. It's very sad. It's like just a freak accident thing. I don't remember super details, but I think he like got out to check his mail and there was something with his car and it like rolled back on him and pinned him to like a brick structure or something, and it's very sad. He is such a promising actor. Like he's so good in everything that I've seen him in.
That's how I recognize him. He's from Alpha Dog. Okay. And that's really sad to hear that. That's a bummer. You know, I broke my kids' hearts when it was just like last year, the year before, we watched one of our favorite movies, A Knight's Tale. Because we love horror movies and big romantics. And my my oldest, fell in love. And I'm like, yeah, it's so sad he died. And she's like, what? He's dead? No. And she just broke down. I'm like, oh, shoot, yeah, baby, he's dead.
Sorry.
And I'm talking about Heath Ledger, of course. And I love Heath
Yeah.
Ledger. What a promising actor he was. I feel like there's all these old actors that were money in the bank. We're talking Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Christopher Walken, like anybody. We can name anybody, right? All of these old guys were so good. And then there's like, who? You know what I mean? Like, who's going to grow up to be that we're going to think back like, wow, just so great in our time. You know what I mean? And I felt like, I absolutely felt like Heath Ledger was one of those actors.
Oh, yeah.
And then he passed away, and probably this young man, and he passed away too. And that's a bummer. Sucks.
I know, it's very sad. I only recently watched A Knight's Tale, by the way. Jade made me watch it, and I ended up liking it. I thought I was going to hate it.
Yeah, Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I want you to tell me about A Knight's Tale, because I loved it.
I was just going to say, like, okay, no, this is, buckle up. We're going to turn it into a review of A Knight's Tale.
What green room Knight's Tale.
I just sometimes I don't want to, like, it doesn't look like a movie that I'm going to like. You know what I mean? And I felt like that about A Knight's Tale. Like, I was just like, oh boy, I don't want to watch this. I felt the same way about also The Count of Monte Cristo, which is one of Jade's all-time favorite, if not his favorite movie of all time. And I was like, I don't want to watch this fucking movie. We watched, like, the trailer, and it just looked so dumb. It looked like such a dumb romance movie. And I was just like, I don't want to watch this. It looks so stupid. Come to find out, it's a fucking revenge movie. I was like, Jade, all you had to do was tell me this was a revenge movie, and I would have watched it years ago. But I was just, the trailer really betrayed that movie and made it seem like it was all about the romance, and I was like, that's so dumb, I don't want this. Anyway, A Knight's Tale and Count of Monte Cristo really surprised me. I liked them both.
See, now when I think of Knight's Tale, there was revenge, but I think of the love. For sure.
That one was more of a
one for me where I was Shakespeare in Love. I watched the trailers. I was like, then it won 7 Academy Awards. And I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I should watch this movie. And still, it took me a few more years to actually go, fine, I'll watch this movie. Oh my God, I love that movie. I just watched it like a month ago with my daughters. And
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I posted a quote from it, and I was just like, my middle teen, she's not a big romantic, but my older one is just like me on that scale of like romance and like, oh, and it was so great. But anyway, that one guy that I thought was Reese Witherspoon's son. He's not.
Oh, yeah.
But Mr. Joe Cole, that's where I recognize him from. He was in that Peaky Blinders show.
Okay. I have not seen that either.
I've only seen a few episodes. People keep telling me that I would love it, and I watched a few episodes, and I did not like it, but it wasn't like Breaking Bad, where after every episode I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait until the next episode comes out. Because totally. I've only watched 3 episodes, so that's kind of obvious because I didn't watch any of the other ones, but it was good.
We're like way off the rails here, but let me also just say, no, you're fine. Hey, this is no rules. This is our thing.
It's our thing.
Another show that people keep telling us to watch and saying that we're gonna like it is The Umbrella Academy, and I just cannot do that show.
Is that like about witches and stuff?
No, it's like about like. You're not far off though. It's about
magic?
Like a family of superheroes-ish type people, like, and it's like based off of a comic book or a graphic novel. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. Actually, also weird fun fact, I believe Gerard Way, the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, this is going way back, y'all. Okay, where are my early 2000s emo people? Here we go. Gerard Way, I think, produced it with somebody else potentially, and I guess I don't know if he made the graphic novel in tandem with somebody else, or if he just really was a big fan of it and then picked it up to make the show. I'm not sure what the details are there. Anyway, people like love this show, and I just cannot get on board.
They think we will, or you and Jade?
Sorry, Jade and I.
Oh, okay.
You're like, why aren't you passing on
I'm
these
just
recommendations?
But I'm thinking too, like, why this superhero one would they think that we would like it? But you guys, okay.
Yeah, Jade is a much more of a superhero-y person, and I like to watch some of the movies, but anyway, side note there, I just can't get on board with the Umbrella Academy. Now they just launched season 2 on Netflix, which is why it's coming back up, and
Gotcha.
I watched like all of the episodes except for like the last 2 in the first season, and I just quit watching it because that's how much I couldn't get into it. It just feels dumb. It feels like a 12-year-old's version of a comic book thing.
That's what I thought. Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It sounded like?
I get all excited. I'm like, oh, Umbrella Academy. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. Like, first thing I thought of was, well, I really like Harry Potter, but kind of like
Me too.
A rip-off, or like I'm going to write something about, I don't know, they do magic with their umbrellas. I don't know, that's what I thought of.
I don't think the umbrellas like have anything to do with it. Not that I can remember anyway, but.
Have you seen Dark?
Yes.
Is it good?
Yes.
Because here's the thing. I've watched the first 3 episodes, and I feel pretty like I want to see another one. But my daughter kind of lost interest, and my husband is and so I don't have anyone to really watch it with, but I can push him and say, hey, I want to watch this, and he'll totally do it. But like, I'm curious enough, but then also like, what the?
Oh yeah, you're not gonna get it. You gotta hang in. It's okay. One of those like, it's gonna be a mystery.
When I get it, will it be
good
though? When I get it, will it be good? Okay, that's the main thing. Like, it kind of threw him and I think I actually know exactly where he lost interest. Where the guy in the wheelchair, sorry guys, we're talking about Dark now. Well, if you're listening, you know that. The guy in the wheelchair, the woman had just taken over that company of that, is it like an energy, whatever. She just, she took
power
over that
plant or whatever.
That power plant. She took it over. That's right. And they keep talking about Chernobyl and all of that. And she's like, look at these numbers, which, by the way, she literally opened up a binder of papers this big, looked at the top page, and had tons of concerns. You would think that if they were doing some scandalous shit, they might stick that down. It was literally, she only had to look at the top page. So when she goes in and goes, I need you to tell me about these numbers, she opens it to the top page and she's showing him. And then he is like, I will just show you. And he makes it all like cryptic, like, just tell me about the fucking numbers. And he's like, no. And they hike out and she's in high heels and they're hiking and she goes down like in the descent into this hole and he's being all weird and cryptic and there's just like a bunch of radioactive cans. Like it's not good that they're hiding the radioactive material in the ground, but it's not like, I mean, you could have told me that in the office. So my husband is like, what the fuck? He's like, is that what it's about? And then he kind of lost interest and then, okay.
No, it's so good, dude. I love that show a lot.
Cool. I'll watch it then.
I highly recommend continuing to watch. And who knows, it might not be for you. This is my shit though. Like, I love like major mystery type movies or shows or whatever that keep you guessing all the way through, and it's like you're just like, what is happening here?
I love it too. I'm a huge Stephen King fan. Huge, and that keeps you guessing. This made me feel a little like, have you read The Institute by Stephen King?
No.
Oh God,
I haven't read any Stephen King. Shocking, I know.
I have a bookshelf that's only Stephen King, and right here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 5 first edition Stephen King books right here.
Oh my God, that's a lot.
Anyways, I totally cut you off, but I just wanted to tell you The Institute was phenomenal. I hope they make a movie. I hope a good director makes a movie. Because my favorite book was The Dark Half, and then they made a movie and it was shit. So the book is way better. But anyway, This reminded me, but the creepiest thing ever, those kids, like in those weird rooms, and what are they doing to those kids? So anyways, I should continue watching, you were saying.
I think you're going to like it. I don't know about everybody else in your family,
household.
But yeah, which is it's a factor, right? Like if they're not liking it, it's hard to watch it together, and then you got to find time to watch it alone. So I'm just recognizing the gravity of that. But I think you'll like it. It gets good. In fact, but it is a lot to follow. So like we started season 2 or season 3, I think, and we were like, what is happening? So we actually are like gonna go back and restart from the beginning because there's like so much that happens that it's hard. You can't really jump back in without. We even watched the recap, and I was like, no, I'm still lost. Like, we're going to have to go way back and just start it over. But I liked it a lot. I started watching it on a plane. It's like one of those plane shows that I was just like, where's this been my whole life?
Okay, cool. We'll continue. My husband would totally be open to watching it. I think he just saw that, and he's like, what is this going to be about? Like, it really irritated him. It's like this thing that will really irritate him. Remember, like in The Descent, the women that were white rafting, white water rafting. And so it's not because women were. So any, ladies out there, don't worry. I wouldn't take that shit. But it was more, that it was rough rafting. So they're obviously professionals because not anyone could do that. But they're like, and he hated that for some reason. So and then he tuned out the rest of the time. So that was this with Dark, was this dude being so cryptic because they're hiding radioactive waste underground. Just tell me in the office. But anyways, have you seen Breaking Bad? I forgot if I ever asked you this.
Oh, yeah.
And you liked it. Oh my gosh, Tawny, Tawny.
Listen, I liked it up until a very specific point, and then after that, I didn't like it as much. And I can recognize that it is a good show that people like, that I just have a very specific problem with, so I am giving it up. It's a good show, and it ended very beautifully. It had a very good ending, but can
I ask? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, spoilers ahead again for Breaking Bad.
If you haven't watched Breaking Bad by now, but
well, yeah. I mean, you're dead to the world. Just if you haven't already watched it, the ship has sailed. But the point in the show where Walter poisons the little boy, Brock, right? Mm-hmm. It lost me. That was where I got one of the things for me, just personally, I cannot stand movies, TV shows, whatever, that you don't like anybody or you can't identify with anybody in the cast. And that's not entirely true for Breaking Bad, but just to back up my point here, I don't like Seinfeld, I don't like Archer, I don't like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, any type of show or movie where everybody just sucks, it's just something that I just don't enjoy. So for me, up until that point, you're really rooting for Walter. You're like, I want this guy to succeed, even though he's doing something, crazy, unethical. But then all of a sudden he poisons this little boy, which I just did not see coming, and it wasn't a good twist for me. I just felt like at that point I lost track of him as a character, and I couldn't root for him anymore. And yes, you still root for
Jesse.
You still like him as a character, and but also I think that just combined with the extreme dark nature of this show, I couldn't watch it with the same level of excitement anymore after that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I really loved it up until that point. I was like,
yeah, when he did that, I know what you mean. That it was just like, he's just bad now, but I was so invested in him, and I still loved it all the way through. And I felt that way with Jesse. At times I hated him, then I loved him, hated him, loved him. Couldn't stand his wife for the whole beginning. For the longest time, I was like, can he just leave her and her not be in the show anymore? That's how much I hated her. But then she started to, it was a little bit better. But yeah, no, that's interesting. I see what you're saying. I think I was just so deeply invested in the show and the characters. So I don't know if I told you this, but I played roller derby before. And right after my last baby was born, I played roller derby. And it was right around that. I did
not know this.
It was right around that time, and my name was Heisenberg. And my number was 90. 99.5%. Whatever the percentage of how pure their meth was, that was my number.
What was your percent?
That was my number for roller derby. Yeah, I loved
it.
it. I was very into it. And then I listened to his book, A Life in Parts, narrated by Bryan Cranston. And it made me love the show even more, him talking about how he became the character. And his life in general, actually. He talks about his life, and it's super cool. But anyways.
Neat. Yeah.
So, Green Room. That was great. It was great. Highly recommend it. So my score, because I was stressing about this, and I feel like I would say 4 out of 5. And then when I thought that, I felt solid, and then I'm like, well, then would Jacob's Ladder be whatever, Felicia? It is what it is. And so right now, there's going to be a point where people are just like, I don't know if I even trust Felicia's scores unless they're like right in line with me. Then I found my tribe.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your final answer?
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. I think I'd also give this a 4 out of 5 because I enjoyed rewatching it. I'd probably rewatch it again. It was very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I would watch it again too. It didn't feel like a horror film, but it was horrific.
Yeah.
Like the horror films that I'm used to watching with you. Like, the different
it's a different feel.
Mm-hmm. Jacob's Ladder was the same though. It felt more like a psychological thriller than really a horror movie, minus the hospital room. But anyways, we talked about that already.
True.
Ew.
Yeah. Let's see. I have just a couple things left, just little tidbits. So the paintball story that Anton Yelchin's character, which I think I just read as Pat, tells is a real experience writer and director Jeremy had. The guy that they say in it, I think it's like Rick something. This says Rick Spears, but that doesn't sound familiar to me. So I feel like they used a different name in the movie. But anyway, that person is a real person who did as said in the story. So I thought that was kind of a neat little
that is cool.
And Jeremy Saulnier, I think, went around and it was in a punk band when he was like a teenager. So this is he's pulling a lot from his own experiences. And there was even a time that they slept in a cornfield, which we opened the movie with. So I thought that was kind of neat that there was he just was pulling a lot from his own experience.
Yeah, that is cool.
And last one is, I felt like this was important to mention just because I feel like it's such a big part of the movie. It says, most of viewers feel the answer to Pat's Desert Island Band is evident in a cut to a Creedence Clearwater Revival track. That is very difficult to say. At the very end, that's the credits song. But that's apparently not the case. Saulnier is being coy about it, but he says there are 2 correct answers. One that makes perfect sense given the context of the movie and how everything plays out, and there's another that is something I whispered to Anton Yelchin on set that only him and I know.
Oh,
which I think is very
I love that.
Nice, huh? And
yeah, so my daughter asked me, she was like, well, what's the song? And I said, oh, this song that they're playing with the credits. That's what I assumed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good assumption, I feel like, and most people, I think, jump there, but it's kind of nice that maybe there's a different answer. He said before that there's 2 answers, and one is probably Creedence Clearwater Revival. I'm having a real hard time saying that. And the other one, which we will never know, because they're the only 2 to know it.
And he died.
I know. And then it says Saulnier's own is Black Sabbath. Well, fun fact.
That's cool. Mine would be Muse.
Muse? Okay.
That's my favorite band of all time.
I didn't see that coming. Yeah. You know what mine would be? Probably is Green Day.
Green Day's great.
I have always loved Green Day, and
yeah, I mean, it's really hard.
I can't think of another band.
I mean, it's really hard because I love 90s gangster rap. I love Dre. I love Eminem and can rap most of his songs by heart. I love Snoop. I love all of that music. And I love classic rock. The Doors, Led Zeppelin, all of that stuff, because my mom was only 21 when she had me, and that's all we listened to, and we're really into music. Yeah. But if I had to, and I love Gaga, and I just love. But
I just love, period.
Muse, My husband said, you are the funnest person to go to a Muse concert with. I am literally like, if you picture Beatles fans, you have that picture of them crying and that's me at a Muse concert. I have tears down.
Okay.
I have tears down my eyes. I absolutely, if they were a religion, I would go to their church.
Nice. I guess that makes sense, though. I would say that I feel that way about Green Day also. I'm less of a, like, insane fan than I feel like I was in, like, high school, middle school. I was like, there's just something about your identity being wrapped up in what you listen to, and so I was, like, obsessed with knowing all of the trivia there is to know about Green Day and everything, but,
I loved Green Day. I listened to them, too.
They're real good. They've
Yeah,
just,
they are.
and they keep going. They just keep making records, and they've been around for a long time, and so that's why I ended up liking it too. Same deal, right? Like my parents, it was what my dad was listening to. My dad was listening to Dookie when I was like a little kid, and so I just
Tawny Ray,
picked that up.
how old are you?
I'm 29.
29. Oh, yeah. Because I'm 43. So when you said that your parents were listening to it, I was like, my parents were listening to Led Zeppelin and The Doors.
I mean,
that's cool.
My parents were also listening to
I'm not
Led
knocking
Zeppelin.
you because you're young. I love it. I think you are
Yeah.
like one of the most awesome human beings. I absolutely adore you. Just when you said that, I thought, oh shit, that's what I was listening to in high school.
BFFs.
I love it.
BFFs for life.
I love it. I love it.
Anyway, okay, does that cover it? Okay, and then
Oh yeah, what are we even
just
talking
what
about?
What are we gonna watch next?
Thanks everybody for like tuning in to our friends chat, our BFF friend chat. It's like they're tuning into just our phone call.
I know.
Yes. So next, so excited. What are we?
I think it's.
I remember the one
You
we're
Should
watching
Have Left.
last. Oh, that is the one where. See, I get so confused. It's because I'm old.
know.
No, I'm just joking. Because we haven't released the last one we did. We're already doing another one. But You Should Have Left. That's right. And you said that was new. It was this year, right?
Yep, 2020. Kevin Bacon, David Koepp, same director as Stir of Echoes. So we're
Shut the front door. Okay.
yes. So we're bringing it into 2020 with Kevin Bacon.
Is it a part of it or no?
David Koepp. I don't think so. No.
No. Okay.
It's like a house, like haunted housey type horror movie. We'll see. The trailer made it look dumb, like partly. Like,
Kevin Bacon.
I don't know.
He needs to like step up and say, "Hey, the trailers for my movies are sucking ass," or maybe he has too much say. We don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
This is a total side note, but you know what I really, really, really wish? That somebody would redo The Purge. Because I love the idea of The Purge. And there was something about it that I didn't like. I was scared, and then I think that cast lost it for me. I'd have to rewatch it.
Okay.
And I was really bummed because the idea of it is absolutely terrifying.
Did you see any of the sequels?
I saw the one with. See, and I don't even really remember it. So, but I remember there was, I think, this girl, and she was just like a clown.
Yeah,
Maybe
they start to blend together for sure. But there's like a fucking billion of them. I mean, there's at least like 4. I don't know. I feel like this is the only series I have ever seen that gets better every time.
Okay, so maybe I should watch
sequel.
the other ones.
Yeah, because here's the thing about the first one that I really didn't like, and I wonder if you didn't like for the same reason. What they did was they took an incredible premise, and then they just created a home invasion movie. It was like, we didn't need this like big premise when you were just going to make a home invasion movie.
Yeah.
That was my biggest problem. Like, I want to see what's happening outside. And granted, that was probably due to a low budget, right? Like, they probably didn't have the budget that they had in the sequels to do, like, major street outside in the city type shit. But I do feel like every sequel for a little while at least, maybe the first like 2 or 3 or something, like it just gets better and better. I was like, damn, this is like the only time that's ever happened, because usually the first one's the best and then everything else like
don't even bother.
Yeah.
I thought that of Jurassic Park. Except a couple in there. But anyway, sorry, we're a dinosaur obsessed family. My daughter loves Jurassic Park. But okay, so maybe I'll watch some other ones then. I'll watch the other ones because the premise is absolutely terrifying.
And then
especially
because
the fact like there's a window right behind me. There's no like metal shutting. If this was a thing, like that just absolutely terrifies me.
Have you seen the show? They did a TV show. Unlike
oh shoot, I hadn't.
USA or something. Like I don't remember what the network was, but that was pretty good too. Because the TV show you have a little bit more of a more time to get connected to the characters and what they're doing and their goals and stuff. So that was kind of interesting too. I enjoyed that.
Tawny, this is based on the movie we watched, Green Room. I mean, my comment comes out of Green Room. Have you seen American History X?
No.
Okay, like
that's the curb stomp one, yeah.
You gotta. Oh my gosh, the acting in you should see that movie. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's that. I didn't know it was called that, but yeah.
I mean, that's just what happens. That's my internal
it's so
reference.
Disturbing. That movie is just so good though. The acting. Yeah. So everybody listening, American History X. That's a really
there are a
one.
few movies that I avoid because I know that they're going to be dark, and that's one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you loved Green Room.
I know.
Come on.
But I gotta space them out, like I can't it is affecting for me, like especially like really dark stuff that moves my soul. Like I have to step away from that and not do that for like another year or something. And so I never know which one it's gonna be. And I'm like afraid because I've heard American History X I think is really dark, and
it is. It's really good though. But I see what you're saying. I have to be emotionally prepared too. Like I know that movie that was out, Precious. It took me while. It took me a while to actually. I think it took me a couple years to finally say, okay, I'll watch it, and I don't think I'd watch it again. And it was good. It was a great movie. It was
a rough one, for sure. Also, The Road is the bleakest, worst, terrible, awful movie I have ever watched in my life. I would never watch it again in my entire life. It was good, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into either. So like I wasn't like mentally prepared for it to be the worst thing I've ever watched. It's so gut punch bad. I mean, like again, it's a good movie.
It was a good movie. Okay.
It's a good movie, and it absolutely accomplishes the goal. But it's based on a book, and it's like post-apocalyptic, like everything's dead. So people are eating other people. Cannibalism is one of my top like most disturbing things to hear about or see or whatever. So this did not. It affected me the most, and so I will never watch it again.
Yeah, see, I totally agree. And then I was thinking, okay, Schindler's List. I've seen that probably like 100 times.
Schindler's List is good.
Intense, but I don't know. But I know what you're saying. Anyways, in the show notes, you should say, we talk about Green Room and A Knight's Tale and Schindler's List and Dark and what was the other? You talked about some TV shows. We pretty much covered everything.
The gamut. We went over a lot. We never end up talking about other shit that we're watching though. So like maybe it's a good.
Yeah, it was fun. There was just some things I wanted to see if you saw and recommend that you should.
That is a good idea though. I'll put them all in the show notes so that we can grab some people searching for some random shit.
Yeah, exactly. It might only be a minute, but hey, we talked about it.
Hey, that's true.
That was so much fun.
Okay, so next movie, You Should Have Left.
Should have left.
And
we loved.
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to say we love talking with you. We absolutely love it. We love that you engage with us, and we have that Facebook group, and I know you know about it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's fun, and thank you so much for supporting us, for sure.
Yeah, and then have a good night. No nightmares.